me tell you how much that I love you. You found me no search. It's like you knew that inside I was hurting. I was so young, said no chance, but you gave me a shot at a romance. I feel like you were like an angel sent to bring me life. Now that I'm with you, me one say that me love you, that me love you, that me love. Hey, me no go one day wonder without my baby, without me love, without me love. And no dance and sing and a ting because you make my life complete. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can't believe that this is for me. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I can't believe that this is for me. Oh yeah. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's for me. Shut up, 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 shut up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's for me. I've never felt this way. So when they ask us, say, oh yeah, we're going all the way. So me, we have feel you all the time and things. Sometimes I wonder if the thing could cut us under, to get under. I know, but your love in my life control that. I lay down my life this way, do anything to make you stay. All of the blessings they come my way, and all the bad things they turn and away. Sometimes life is such a scare. Your love gives me the strength to bear. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Just for me. Shut up, 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 shut up.
Yo, I was just singing my heart out.
I was like,
Oh
wait,
yeah.
should I be like, this is for me?
You should have. Cause I was singing my heart out. It was
Huh?
real good today.
Run it back,
Oh
friend. Run
yeah,
it back.
yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So for me.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh
Greetings,
man.
everybody. Hey, motherfuckers. Hey, motherfuckers. Hey, motherfuckers. Hey, motherfuckers. Hey, motherfuckers. Yeah. I
Yes.
don't even know why we have this much fun all day on this phone. People have been on the phone for hours. I
It's
didn't
so
been to
much
my
fun.
damn colonic, just shitted on the table, talking. Like, ooh, don't pay that no attention, Malika. Anyway, so
Disregard the noises. If you hear anything, just pretend it's
disregard it.
something else.
Just it's solar wind.
It's
It's
solar.
solar wind. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
y'all. So tonight the Let's Have a Conversation is postponed until next week. Some of our members have some things going on, and I need to get some packages out, even though packages went out. Um, More will need to be going out. I need to kind of focus on that and get some rest. So we're going to postpone Let's Have the Conversation until next week. So make sure you tune back in with us next week to catch that conversation. But we've been giving it to you all week anyway, and we're going to give it to you today. Malika and myself, let me tell you something about my friend. She is brilliant in the mind, and she will make you see something that you did not see before. And a lot of things that she say, like, it seems to come back to me in 24 hours or less from another source where I'd be like, you know who else just said, you know what happened, Malik. Let me tell you. And so, like her mind is so beautiful that way. So her and I have been talking, and she began to help me to understand what a man mind works like. Now we've talked to Mr. Sean G. Speakerbox Sir himself, and we've also spoken to Ro, Malika's husband, and so but it was the way, like I told her, like I know we've said it, we've heard it, but I didn't hear it until you made it make sense. So I want her to kind of explain and break down the breakdown. Because as soon as she said, I was like, nope, stop. We got to start the live. Because if you can say something, and show, like, if you can whoop your child, you can praise your child too. You know what I'm saying? So I want her to, like, help us to understand, so we're not offended, so we're not always on the two different conversations when it comes to men, because we love our men. You know what I'm saying? So listen, rapper, let me go on and get you out of here, because you always
Oh,
coming in with some dumb shit. You think somebody give a fuck? You are a genome. You keep putting the Nigger. You're a genome, and your mom is recessive in her genes. Her hair is probably flat. Her wound holds no bearing to a melanite woman whatsoever. You're a degenerate, and so is she. And she should have swallowed you instead of giving birth. Have a great day.
I don't even think she should have swallowed him or her. I think she should have fleshed it.
Ooh, that's even better.
Because why would you digest that? Like,
That's what
oh.
they like to do.
Anyway, I give gratitude for the compliments, friend. I appreciate you so much and I love you. And you know it's absolutely received and reciprocated. And now I have to try to remember what we were just
Okay,
saying.
let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Let's bring
Okay,
it
so
back.
what happened was Malika was like, I just not going to get offended when a black man compares a white woman, because he's not talking about me,
Right. So that
right?
okay, right. So the power in it is not taking it personal if you know it does not apply to you. So for instance, like I was telling Quatita, a man would have to directly say to me, Malika, you don't hold a candle to a genome, and that's why I choose them, for me to then feel any possible necessity of explaining exactly what the reality is versus what they think of me, right? But when a man is sharing his opinion of his experience, when he is opening up to be vulnerable with you in that moment, the same way that we request a vulnerable space and to feel safe with the person that we are around, is the same way that men sometimes request that in them being able to voice their thoughts, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when he was saying that, I don't take it when I hear men say that, period, because you're not talking to me. You couldn't be. And if you knew me, you would definitely know that, yeah, Malika, you're not included in this. You're not talking to me. And I also
Yes.
have to take the accountability for us, especially even if we just take, you all haven't seen my walk, but let's because we've all witnessed the grandness that is Quatita. We've seen how reflections of us have shown up, and
Right.
uh,
So when
and
you said that,
mhm.
I said, dang, Malika, like, now I understand what you mean. Now I get what you're saying, like, taking like that out of it, because that's, like you said, that's his experience. Allow him to have that experience, because if that's what he feels like, that's fine. I understand you experienced that, but you've never experienced me, so I'm not offended because you don't know my greatness. I understand that.
You know, when I
Yeah.
think about it, an example that just came to me is like, let's say you're talking, and it's not even with somebody that you plan on being intimate with or you plan on sharing that connection with, but you're just talking and you're like, I really love it when a man gives me roses. And all of a sudden, this man chimes in and he's like, so what you saying? I'm not a man because I don't give women roses? Sir, this had nothing to do with you. And your response feels like, do you want to have a conversation about it? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know you. I don't know you. I was just saying that this is something that I like. Don't take my moment away from me with me expressing what it is that how I'm set up by you making it about you. And I really give that respect because I ask for that in conversations. If I come to Ro and I'm sharing something that means something to me or something that has offended me, I'm not saying it to tear you down. I'm saying it because I need you to know me so that we know how to show up to each other the same way. I have to know you as well and give you space to share yours, whether I agree with it or not, whether I would engage or live my life in that way, it doesn't matter. So with what Shanji was saying last night, because that part didn't apply to me, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. That's what they say, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I only took the part of that that did apply to me, and I did utilize that tip last night. And I brought Ro a drink, and he looked at me and he was like, "Babe, gratitude." And he says gratitude a lot. He always shows his appreciation and voices it. But there was something in it that made me realize, oh, this is something I'm not doing enough. It's not just the moments where it's expected or where it's asked of you,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
doing it just because you thought of the person, it hits different.
Absolutely.
It hits different. Yeah. And Cartita, don't forget the part where because Cartita was like, yes, for whatever reason, Spirit kept showing me a previous conversation that I had, and I was trying to figure out how it connected, but it's like when a man will say, like a woman is preparing herself for a girls trip or going somewhere, and you might, clean up your area, you're gonna wear your bikini and whatnot. You want to make sure that you visit Toddy and get it smoothed out, right? And
Yeah,
so the
waxed or shaved per.
absolutely, and the man will be like, oh, so you setting up for something, like you about to go in and
Who you about to fuck?
that part. And so my response to that is, how dare you call me a whore?
And I said to her, absolutely, Malika. I say this all the time, and I feel like there's something that women miss. When somebody says something like that to you, they're telling you their view of you. Like they believe that you're a whore, you're loose, and that's in your character, your nature to go out there and just fuck anybody. Like you're lucky I'm giving myself to you. So how dare you ever put me in that space of thought, energy, like any of that? I'm offended. Then you
Hmm.
should be offended. Absolutely.
Right. It's like the subliminal message behind what you're saying, because what you're telling me is that you think I'm capable of giving access to more beings than just the person that is my person. And that is never me. That's never how I've shown up. You have given honor to me because of that. So, how dare you ever let anything slip out of your mouth like that to ever set an impression that that is who I am when I am not? Correct that, cleanse that, fix that. That's you. Maybe you're
Yeah.
capable of it.
Yes.
It's like those
So
men that
then
go ahead.
go ahead. No, no, no.
No, I was gonna say it's like those men that cheat and their lady could just be pure, not cheating, be really committed. But the men will always be like, they'll point out everything that makes that woman a cheater, but it's really their description of themselves, and vice
Yeah.
versa. You have women that will do that too. They're cheating, and so now all of a sudden they're insecure in everything their partner does. And it's like, baby, you're the cheater. Don't put that on me. Look at yourself, you know,
Or
that type of
somebody
thing.
that pretends to be your friend or wants to be your friend and they telling you all these things to watch out for because how people will do and show up, but really they describing themselves
They
and the
talking
energy
about
that they come
themselves.
with.
That's
So even
it.
inside of that comment of us talking about that, that's when, like the aha moment really came in and hit.
Mhm. Mhm. Because we engage in a lot of stuff that doesn't belong to us. It doesn't belong to us. So why are you fighting a battle for something that does not, it doesn't define you? I
Yes.
you're stepping out, you're giving away your power and stepping outside of your power at the same time. Like, let your actions match what it is that you know about yourself. That's how, like, I see it when I'm in a triggered phase and I have to calm myself down or step myself off that ledge, because I will be ready to go and dive in and hurt your feelings with my sharp tongue. And I have to pull back and say, okay, where is this really stemming from? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is not even about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I get that. When the aha moment was the experience, let that person, that man, that woman, let even that child, let them have that experience. As a mother, I had to understand that. Like You may think you are the best mother, but is that the person that your child experiences? And you have to understand, you may think you're a great singer and record yourself and listen to that shit back like, who is that singing? Bitch, that's you. Now you've experienced yourself in a different way. So you're not always showing up the way that you think that you are. And so when Malika is breaking it down, she said, I was not offended at Shanji for saying, like, a man doesn't want to come home to a black woman that's nagging. Did you hear the words basically that was said? That was his experience of some of the black women that he dealt with. Let him have that experience because that was his experience. And I'm like, okay, right.
Yes,
Go ahead.
because that ties into the conversation that we were having with Aubrey last night. And I had said to Aubrey, your impact statement, the first statement that you gave when we went live last night was so powerful. But I sat back for a moment, not a but because I'm not negating anything I said before that, just go with me. I sat back during what Aubrey was saying because Aubrey's point was, how dare you ever speak on the existence of me that is powerful and speak in opposition of how I show up. And in that moment, I said to myself, but Aubrey, how do you know that he's found in Aubrey?
That
How do you
part.
know? How do you know that he's had the experience of a Quatita or a Malika or a Charming? How do you know that? How do you know? And I'm gonna mention the name because fuck it. How do you know that he wasn't going back home or was afraid to go in the door because there was a Lady Wu waiting on the other side of the door for him? How do you know that he wasn't trying to escape the delusion? And now
Can
you,
you
as a
imagine going
powerful
into your house and a drunk
woo,
crazy bitch like Woo is in?
listen.
This I would
And
turn around and walk back out the door.
And so now, as a powerful Melanite woman, that maybe they've been in the bushes, they've been in the bushes watching and admiring and being enamored by your essence. And when they share their experience of you, because you're more focused on the trigger than giving honor to his experience and him feeling safe enough to vocalize it, you are now in responding and saying, but why would you say that? Because why wouldn't you want to go home to a Melanite woman and da 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 da? No, babe, that's not what he said. And now, because he respects you so much, he's wondering, well, damn, did I fuck up? Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Was I supposed to go back inside to the delusion? I was trying to escape it because I wanted something healthy, like what you look like to me when I've been watching from these bushes. But,
Can we just let that sink in for a second, Malika?
mm-hmm,
Because I think, like Aubrey said, I did not, I totally understand that when you said it, Malika. Can we just let that sit in to all of the Melanite women in the chat? Do you want to be seen as a Lady Wu? Then don't show up that way.
mm-hmm,
You have to understand and let that sink in. I would never want to be seen as a woman like her, ever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So let me correct myself so my experience that I give someone is not that.
mm-hmm,
Because how can we say you lying? You just putting that out? Absolutely not by what we saw in the chat.
mm-hmm.
Just let that sink in for a second. Go ahead, Malika.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what's so deep about that as you said it is, how then do we look when we don't take the time to get the specifics of his experience, and now we are in defense of the Lady Wu?
Absolutely not.
When we say that is on you, you should never want to go through, you should never want to not go home to that Melanite woman. You are in essence, because you didn't take the time to be like, okay, well, what was she doing exactly that made you feel this way? You didn't get the
Mm-hmm.
specifics, and now you're in defense of a Lady Wu.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Lady Wu is a disgusting individual who's drunk all the time, causing chaos, confusion, really loud mouth, talking, going off about nothing. She's a pathological and a habitual liar. That's who Lady Wu is. And she causes nothing but chaos and confusion in her and leaves it in her wake no matter where she goes. And that's
Yep.
not just an exaggeration of a person. That is who she is.
Yeah. That's that pretty much sums it up.
It does. It
It
does.
pretty much sums it up. And it's not to be mean in any way, shape, or form, but once you have had the experience of her name matches, it's like, oh, ooh, child, it's time to exit this building. I did not ask for this. Please, universe, know that I am separating myself from all of this and not in any way, shape, or form trying to attract any other energies like this, especially when there's space for growth and that growth is not, that opportunity is not utilized. Instead, you just get deeper into the nastiness that you're choosing to exhibit to the world. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the thing is that we have to be accountable when men are expressing their feelings. We have to know that some of our reflections, as far as physicalities, are not showing up in the best form in the way that we would. And even us, we can learn from each other to show up even better, even if we're doing a good job at showing up right now, you
Can we
know?
take it in a different direction as well,
Hmm.
looking
Hmm.
at the mind of the man? Because another part of their conversation was, when I'm in the relationship with a woman, I don't want her to wear the shorts where like her whole ass is hanging out. And then Shanji even said, like, I don't mind a little booty cheek, but the one shorts where it's all the way up in the ass. And even in this moment, I'm sitting here thinking and I'm reflecting in retrospect. Um, I don't want to be seen like that, period. Because I heard another guy say, we don't respect that. Like, I'll fuck you, but I'm not going to respect you. And so I don't want to be seen as that anyway. Like, I like short shorts, but I'm never going to wear shorts outside that my whole ass is out. You might see a little cheek, but it ain't going to be that. You know what I mean? And so I'm always going to want to see myself in a respectable manner anyway. And I think we do get so offended about, he's trying to control me or she's trying to control me. Now, I'm never going to be controlled. I'm not going to change things about myself. You know what I'm saying? If that's how, if I had this on when you met me, then yes, I want you to accept me. But I have to look at it like this. I like to go outside and not have on a bra. But if he says, no, go put a bra on, I'm gonna go put a bra on. I'm going to respect that. You feel me? Because if I look over, like he said, and got on the gray sweatpants, and I'm like, nigga, where you about to go? Not like that. Go put some drawers on and change your pants. Something like, absolutely not. I would want that same respect, but I'm not going to have on my rainbow hoe dress and my whole puss poom poom is hanging out, and I think that that's supposed to be okay for him or her. We do have to look at it like that. Like, how would you feel? You know, like he got on, like, say he's cut up, Malika, and he got
Hmm.
them one cuts down by the area, and and he got on them gray sweatpants, and the pants are kind of hanging low, and you see the cuts right there. Now, I'm just run to the store real quick with no shirt on. He got on, absolutely the fuck not. You're gonna lose your fucking mind.
I'm a
You're
little
not
bit
going to the store
different
like
when
that.
it comes to that. I'm a little bit different.
I
Uh,
don't, I cannot, because I know I would feel that way.
right, right. Like I feel like if Ro did that, I would the type like I'm jokey. I'm very jokey. So I'd be like,
Yes.
hey, you just make sure you send that number to my phone first. So if she approach, you just let her know that you forwarding her to your wife, okay? And then I
You know
work that
why though,
out.
Malika? Because
Mhm.
y'all have that kind of relationship and friendship and
Mhm.
trust.
Mhm.
If I
You
felt like we were on that, then I still would be like, I don't know if that would still be okay for me. It may still be in my mind, but I just feel like now I kind of understand what they were saying. But at the same time, I know I'm
Mhm.
not going to
Mhm.
change me, but I can
Mhm.
receive it from you saying it, because I think I would probably have a problem with that.
Mhm. So
So
I and
I respect it.
I do want to say that I do agree with them. Like, okay, so everybody, most people, greetings, new family, cousins. Y'all know. that Malika is Jamaican. And in my culture, we swimsuited everywhere. We do know how to class it up. Don't get me wrong now. But when you go to a Caribbean event, some people are culture shocked at the way that we dance, at the way that there's an overt sexuality, the way that we dress. Like I remember I didn't even get access to go to a club in the Bahamas. They turned me away at the door because they said that I was nude. And I was like, this is what I regularly wear to go out. Little crop top. This is when I was teeny tiny. Little crop top, some pom pom shorts, fishnets underneath, high heels, hair fixed up, all of that. And I thought I was doing it. And they said, no, you are not. You don't meet dress code standards. And I was like, what are we saying here?
But you know what? You're like that though. Like when I first my one of my first encounters with you, you had on a whole netted dress with a thong and a bikini top up under, and I was like, God damn! But Ro loves that. He films you as you're
Hmm.
walking. You know, he
Hmm.
loves that about you, and so that's different because y'all have that mutual respect for each other.
See, but there was a moment though where like how I was laughing when you said the thing about the bra because I remember having that conversation with Ro because I'm the type to just pull on a top and some tights and go out to the store and he was like, "So we don't believe in bras?" And he explained to me that it would make him more comfortable if I did have on a bra. And my response was like, babe, you ride with no shirt on in your truck. And females be pulling up and they be looking and seeing all the goodness and, feeling what they feeling. Now, I never once would tell you, bro, put your shirt on, and I still wore the bra out of respect for his request. But I also sent him a bunch of articles on how bras create tumors and they lead to breast cancer. And then he was like, babe, you know what? Do it. Do it. He was like, babe, do what you want. But out of respect for him, I compromise. So sometimes I won't feel like it, but I'll make sure the shirt isn't something that will show off all of my goods. I'll
Hmm.
make sure that it's covered. And then other times, if I'm wearing one of those mesh shirts, I won't just put on what you would see in some of our clubs, which is the little pasties. I'm gonna put on a bra underneath, or sometimes that may be too much. I'll gauge his reaction. I want him to feel comfortable because the more comfortable you feel when I'm walking out of the door, the better time I'm going to have when I'm out until I get back home with you. So I put on like the little sports bra instead, or look for the cute bralettes. And he expresses like, yes, babe, that looks good. That feels good. And it makes me feel better walking out of the door. So I do agree with that part. I was just thinking about the sweatpants going out because I also am the type to I feel like I'm not going to stop you from showing me who you are. So if you wearing sweatpants is going to lead you to picking up somebody and end up cheating with them, if you're willing to take the risk of losing this, do it. I
That
dare
part.
you. I
That
dare
part.
you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Y'all
Mhm.
don't worry. I blocked that Quatita deer. They just got blocked. Don't worry.
Somebody was in here with that name?
Girl, yeah. Send me friend request, please. No, nobody sending you nothing.
They be so bold with it. They be so bold with it. So I have a
We
question for
don't
you,
think of it
Quatiter.
like that. What?
Okay, so speaking of that topic that we were just on, all right. All right, okay. How do you handle like when they say don't those sayings of like don't brag about your man to your friends and like don't have another woman in your house around your man. How do you handle that? Do you agree with those things or not?
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna answer that in a few ways. One, I agree about not talking about sexual things um with your friends or with people because for several reasons. I'm gonna tell you why. One, because I've seen women want to experience what you experience, because you've made it sound so good, and they have no morals and they don't give a fuck about friendship genuinely. And I'm sure she's already showed you red flags of that, but you're still holding on to a friendship that's not a friendship. And then another part of that is I don't want nobody to do that to me, and I wouldn't want to embarrass him nor her, because excuse me, I don't know how they would feel. Like, some men be like, yeah, I put, yeah, this dick, like, but it's like, um I would be embarrassed myself, like if he's like, yeah, she had sucked all my balls, she put my whole balls. Like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So I don't like that. And I don't want to share in that experience. And then for me as a friend, I think it would make me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? To hear like you can say like, oh, our sex is good, like you said every time, like that is so beautiful. Now I got to go out and find me somewhere I can get great sex every time. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? I don't want your partner and I don't want you, but I definitely want to have that kind of experience in my life, you know? So
Hmm.
it's an inspiration, not an envy kind of thing, and envy is not always bad, but I'm inspired to go and find the kind of love and love making that you have. Some women
Hmm.
don't get inspired. They want it from the same person you're getting it from. And now, not to have don't have a woman in your house again. Just a different person. Like if I can't trust you in my house or around my spouse, I should not be your friend. And I also don't want to again make my partner uncomfortable because say you did discuss this with one of your girlfriends and you telling her all the shit that he do and it feels so good when he do da, and now is she going to bring that up? Is she going to talk about that to that person? But me, I've seen a few things, but you know, I shake my head like I don't want to say that. I don't want to see that, you know. But is she going to talk about that? And then you know what I'm saying? Like now, if we have a different dynamic where we as a couple trying to get her, we trying to pull her in. I
Mm.
might. I might discuss that. I might let her know what she can expect if she come on into the bedroom, so it would depend. But if I can't have you around my spouse, you got to know your spouse. Because if he or she would ever go for it, that means you, like you said, I dare you, motherfucker. Not on my watch. Don't do that to me. And you're my friend? Absolutely not. You're not my friend. So again, I'm that kind of person. Like if you ain't never talked to me and then my good girlfriend step out the room, now you got conversation, nigga, get the fuck out my face.
Mhm.
I don't play that game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if we all always talk and she step out the room like, so Quatita, did you see on that one? Like, I'm all right with that. Cause yes, we
Mhm.
we do have a dialogue. But if you don't never talk to me until she leave the room, you got me fucked up.
Mhm. Yeah. That's where the weirdness comes in. I agree with you 100% on that. Um, I think, see, the thing is that I have a way with words, and so it's hard for me to not describe a sexual experience and make it sound
That part.
magical
And
and
I don't
mind
want
blowing.
nobody fantasizing. Like,
See,
I
but
don't
the thing is that, I
it
mean,
turned into lust.
in my experience, it has turned into lust for me. So,
Well, see, that's different. That's what I'm saying. That's different. You know what I'm saying? If we're
hmm,
open to that and you know that that person's open to that. But you have some women that are strictly dickly. They want
yeah,
your experience, but bitch, you out of it. I've actually
hmm,
watched it in real time. We were supposed to be having a threesome. This bitch hit me in the head with her leg. They over there making love. Like, I'm like, oh no, this ain't working for me.
hmm, hmm,
I wasn't in that space.
hmm.
So mm-mm.
Mm, yeah, I get that completely. I get that completely. I
Excuse me.
bless you. Um,
Gratitude. Oh
bless
shit!
you
Excuse me.
again.
See, I'm
Bless you
allergic to
again.
stupid shit.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. Yeah, you know what? I have always, I think I've been the type to test and challenge, because of my lack of trust for humans and my lack of
Mhm.
hope for humanity.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry I'm saying it like that, but whatever. Um, that I will tend to be my freest self just to see, like, okay, well, how is this going to show up? How are you going to use this information? Because honestly, I am so confident in the fact that, oh, I'm such a blessing and
Mhm.
damn near irreplaceable.
I
So,
think Malika. I think it's gonna
mhm,
be different if,
mhm.
say, for example, like I don't want to hear your every sexual girl. Yeah, guess what we did last night. I don't
No,
want to. I
yeah,
don't want to
that's
hear
too
that. But
much.
if we have like if there was something, say for example, a motherfucker come to you like, listen, I know we don't usually talk about this, but I just want to discuss this with somebody, and you're my bitch, and I trust that this information don't go nowhere else, and that, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
I trust you, I love you. But last night our sex was different. It was
Mm-hmm.
the best we've ever had, and it was this when he just did, like, it was, what you think, like, you ever had that experience, like, you ever, you know what I mean, like, that conversation might
Mm-hmm.
be a little different too, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
than me keep telling you like, girl, yes, last night, I don't
Yeah,
give
no,
a fuck.
I think that that's I find that weird. I don't like to use that word a lot, but I find that weird if somebody is just consistently telling you about, as a friend, a platonic friend, consistently telling you about their sexual experiences, even just in a relationship when it's always sex talk. Is it's like, is that the only thing that you can think of or that you can come up with? Like, what are we doing
Yes.
right now? So like, yeah, I get that completely. See, because the way that my friend is set up is my friend has a gift that I wish I had also. Where she can see certain experiences. And I remember the moment that you told me that, and you didn't want to, and I kept pushing and prying. And then,
Maya ass.
yes, she's the one that gave it away, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And
So then I
so,
lied. You was like, you have you ever seen? I was like, no, I've never seen that. I told Maya later. I was like, I'm lying. I did. I didn't want
and
to, but they saw up on it.
And I was so intrigued by that. And I think that, I mean, that also is a direct reflection of the trust in the friendship, because never would I think that Quatita would see that. And so she gonna push up and in any way try to damage what the beauty of what it is that she sees in us. And so I was asking questions like, okay, well, did you see something with a feminine or did you see Ro? Which one was it? How did it look? Did I do a good job, friend? Like,
I didn't even want to discuss it. I could not. Like, I don't know. You know, um,
and
you
her Quatita's discomfort in it was so it gave me a moment to be playful, to the point where even when Ro came home from work, I was like, "Guess what, babe?" And Quatita was like, "No, no, no, no." And I said, "Quatita's seen everything. I found out about
I'm
a new gift
so
that Quatita has
embarrassed.
today." And Ro
So
was kind of
embarrassed.
like, "Oh, okay. Well," I don't remember what his exact response was. Like, "I hope you enjoyed it."
I'm just over there like, let me just get some ice in the cup. Just put my ice in. Let's sit back down and hear you guys. Like, oh my god.
But
Listen,
that's
I'm this kind of friend. You ever
Mhm.
seen do you remember when Love and Hip Hop first came out and Jim Jones and his girlfriend Chrissy was on
Yes.
there and Chrissy had a fight
Mhm.
with Kimbella, right?
Mhm.
I'm that kind of friend where Chrissy was, they were all together with Emily with her lame dumbass, and she was fucking with Fabulous. That was her dude, and Kimbella was talking about how she had fucked Fabulous before, and Chrissy was because that's her friend. Chrissy looked at that bitch, she jumped up, beat her ass, like drug the bitch off the couch type shit. Like, bitch, don't ever try to
Mhm.
hurt my friend like that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, bitch, fuck you, you hoe. Don't ever try to fuck my friend up in her mind like that, hurt her, embarrass. I'm that kind of friend.
Mhm. But
Absolutely not.
when people don't know the experience of that, I think they feel like this is as good as it gets. They don't know that there's a friend like Quatita. They don't know that there's a friend like Malika, like Aubrey. You know what I'm saying? So they automatically will be like, well, this is as good as it gets. So now I want to do the things that I hear friends do, and I want to be able to speak to them because I should be able to trust them. And they haven't discerned so wisely because they think that this is the maximum of what they deserve, which gets tricky
Yep.
too.
Hmm.
Mm. I couldn't imagine the pain of that, of finding
In
out
front of
something like that.
everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no.
no.
I was looking
Like,
at
you
the
just
chat.
thought it was funny.
I was looking at the chat earlier. Oh, Oyasita said friend is a very weird word. Why
Mm.
I'm intrigued. Why is friend a weird word?
I would say, if anyway, it would be because sometimes people misuse it or take it and not really be what it is that you're supposed to be.
Mm. Mhm.
It's like that's my sister in Christ. Bitch, that ain't shut up. Like
And look, she said correct. Correct. I get it. That's like what we were talking about last night with the polarity of words. That words can either have a very negative connotation to some based on their experience or have a positive for others based on their experience. It's all individual perspectives and perceptions. I get that.
let let's talk about
Mhm.
um some of the conversation we had in the back chat, Anyway, to be nice.
Uh,
Um the back chat where I was explaining how I have a difficult time, and I've talked about this, with letting someone in my space to see me genuinely. And I'm just going to say a man. And I said this to somebody yesterday. I said, I've been trying not to date women right now because I kind of want to prove to myself that I can be loved by a man. Because
mm,
all of my relationships have been fucked up with men. And I'm just trying to do that shadow work and fix that part of me. Because I know that when I deal with a woman, I'm more masculine. I'm trying to find a situation where I can be more feminine because I don't like to deal with studs. Because if I wanted a nigga, I would go and get a nigga. I like the
mhm.
softness about a woman, you know?
Mhm. Say that again, friend.
So um I want to feel the genuine love from a man in its purest state outside of Yehuda, you know? So
Mhm.
the masculine gratitude, Yehuda, masculine. Um and so I keep saying prove to myself, but I shouldn't have to prove to myself. But in reality, I want to experience it. But in the sense of me wanting to experience it, I don't know how to allow myself to experience it.
So with that, I think when we spoke about this, I said this as well, which was that in this moment, it's sometimes we're too hard on ourselves as far as wanting to have it all figured out without the experience. The only way to experience it is to have the experience. So the
Hmm.
preparation is what is necessary before the experience. Your ability to have a premonition or foresight in regards to this may be something that will happen, and I need to see how or look into how I will show up in that moment to be in my
Okay.
best energy. Mhm.
So, like for example, let me give them the example that I gave y'all. Because I can actually feel it in that space, Malika. So
Mm.
it has been. I've only had one relationship where the guy he would come up behind me if I'm cooking or washing dishes, and he'll put his arms around me, and we like. I didn't really know how to take it then, but I embraced it, So, and I was telling them like, even the very thought of someone doing that to me now jolts me, makes me like, what nigga, what's going on, like, like, because I don't know how to receive that.
Mhm. See, but that's the part, and what my response is to that is maybe you're not supposed to know how to receive that right now because your ability to do that from whatever you've experienced is protecting you from what is not for you. And when you have that person, even in that moment, it's going to take work. But the practice of that, when I see you in that space, when I envision you in my mind in that space, it's having a match, a divine masculine match that you can give instruction to and say, this is something, and this goes back to communication and clear communication and allowing everyone to express their experience. No, sir, she's not saying when you touch her, she's offended. She's saying that she's been through things that has her in a certain state of mind, and she might be working towards changing that. So let's do the work now. Okay. So boyfriend, hubby, sir, my person, when I when I'm in this space, I feel uncomfortable because I've been through A, B, C, and D, and I'm still not sure what all the parts of it are. And then in that, like, showing him that you want it to be different with him. Let's practice. Okay, wrap your arms around me. And of course, at first you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
feel uncomfortable. Let's kind of like role playing. People do a lot of things for sex that if they utilize those practices in their everyday connection, it would make their relationship so much better. So let's role play this. Put your arms around me from behind. So now he comes behind and he holds you, and you may feel uncomfortable at first. You may even have to say, okay, stop, not right now. We might have to come back to this. And if he is your match, if he's your person and he's hearing you, and this is something to help you and both of you in essence of that, then he is going to be like, okay, we'll come back to it. I give gratitude for you sharing that this even made you uncomfortable because I thought it was me and I didn't want to say anything. Those
Mm-hmm.
are those moments where you realize, wow, we've both been having individual conversations with ourselves. I'm glad we brought it to the table to do this together. And eventually, with that right energy, that hiccup, giggle energy, with with that energy, you don't have a choice. You feel like this is something I'm craving, so let me get into this space, and eventually you will feel your body melt into him and become one with him, because anything he does, it makes you feel as though it's your safe space because of the
I'm
patience and the
such a
grace he's
sap
given
though,
you.
Malika. I'm such a sap that I feel like once my body melts and I'll just be crying like
You
honey, and didn't
you
even know I
might
need.
Did you not hear me the other day when we were on live and Nika was Nika was talking about apple of my eye, and I said I had to turn my camera off because I ran to row, and exactly what you just said is me. And he'll be like, "Come here, Cancer." He already
Yeah.
knows. Like, your person knows you. If your person is doing the work to learn you, they know you, and that is something that they also will be enamored by, because how beautiful is it that you can feel this so much that you emotionally flow. Her tears are magic. Ashe.
I say gratitude, gratitude.
It's really dope to think about, though. It's really, and I love that you're challenging your vulnerability.
Cause
I
it's
love that.
scary for me.
Hmm.
We talked about that last night too. After on the after show, where we just kind of sit behind in the queue and talk. Like I brought this up too. It's scary for me. Is it scary for anybody else in the chat? And let me say this too. Feel free to hit the cash app. Malika, let's run an ad or two real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Where your ad at? Where your ad at? Let's see here. Come
For
on.
all your
There we
self
go.
Whoever said
healing.
that everything that glitters isn't gold never met goddesses. When my mind and heart feel led astray, or even on a gloomy day, when negative energies come my way, return to sender with one spray. With intention, I will mist, ensuring protection, peace, and bliss. From the north, south, east, and west, Goddessence makes me feel my best. Goddessence Calming Protection Mist, available now at www.grandrising.com.
They say do everything with attention. From my hands to yours. May you receive all the energy and everything you need it to be. Ashe.
Man, I heard you talk. I said, wait a
I
minute,
was just I was just talking to talk.
man. Chaz's motherfucking beat hit so hard on that ad, man. That
Hmm.
beat is so
Hmm.
fire. When you hear it in a car, Oh, that beat is so fire. I love that.
Mhm.
Gratitude, everybody. Yeah, feel free to hit
Mm-mm.
that cash out. Gratitude. Um,
And that like while you're at it. Make sure that you're
and
liking the
period.
live. Gratitude.
And period. Greetings,
I
Hope.
I saw Mode or Culture um say, got to have a man worthy of you doing that with. A lot of men hold back so much and so reluctant, nervous about love. It's a shame. I don't think that's a shame. I think that just shows that, well, gratitude for me being in a space with someone I can learn with. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
have reluctancy and he has reluctance, that means there's something that you both can heal together, individually and together. And that also makes me wonder, Quartita, why is it that when those red flags are shown that Shanji was talking about, I think that was Shanji that said that when those red flags are shown, what makes us ignore them? Like, if you meet someone and you feel now you're in a state where you're vulnerable enough to say, let's practice this or let's try this. And he says, anybody got time for that? Like, fuck that shit. Like, if you don't want me to hold you, well, fuck it then. I just won't hold you from behind. Why do we not address that in that moment and stand stern and be like, you know what? If we can't do this work together, then it's not for me. Why do we just ignore it?
You know what? That question goes into my aha moment. I was just sitting here thinking, and right before you started asking that question, I wanted to like say what my aha moment is, but then you asked that question, and that question falls into what my aha moment was, which
Perfection.
I perfection, gratitude to the soul and spirit, solitude they walk.
Ashe.
Um, I believe, Malik, and I think just in this moment of retrospection, and I keep using that because Yehuda said that in retrospect, that we, I say this a lot, you tend to put up with things from your spouse that you would not put up in a friendship. And the only difference for real is the intimacy and sexual encounter, because you can be intimate with your best friend but not a sexual intimacy. You let them into your space intimately without the sexual encounter. So that's really the only difference. Plus you're paying bills, because you can have a roommate you're paying bills with, that's your best friend that you have an intimacy with but not on a sexual level. And so I think when people are looking at relationships, which was my aha moment just now, we're putting something on it that we should not, because that person genuinely should be your best pal, your best buddy, your best
Mm-hmm.
friend. But let's just pay bills. We didn't procreated and brought into a life together. And we trust each other on a different way, like we're getting to experience each other that in a way that nobody else, like I don't care if they had other relationships, you're not experiencing this person the way I am, because this is my experience of them, and they may give me things that they didn't give anyone else. And so this is my best friend. The bonus is the great sexual encounters that we have, and that is simply just the sharing of the soul and coming into balance with each other in a more private and intimate way. So
Mm.
I think we don't look at it correctly, because we're putting something on it to say, I got a man, I got me and my husband. Like, but what does that mean to you? You don't know what that means. You didn't give that yourself time to have that kind of clarity. I don't give a fuck about having a husband or a wife. Husband, I want a beautiful relationship, intimacy, growth partner. I want that. Everything I just exclaimed, I that's
Mm-hmm.
what I want. I can have a
Mm-hmm.
husband I don't even talk to or lay with. I don't want that.
You know what I wish for my friend in her relationship, that the individual that is manifesting you as we speak. Another thing that I would add to that I want is for my friend's husband, her person, to be on the same page as she is in what the relationship looks and feels like. I say that because every time you ask Ro a question, I say to myself, I know how I express our relationship, but what is he about to say? And when
Mm,
he hits the same spot, even if we both didn't hit bullseye, but we hit the same spot on that map, it lets me know that we are in the space that we're supposed to be in, Ashe. Because
Mm-hmm.
he won't even be, road stays, like if I'm on live, I'm in the living room usually. Right now I'm in the bedroom, I'm in the bed, I'm comfy. Shouldn't say that because I'm supposed to be doing something else. But but
Yeah.
I'll be in the living room and he'll be in the bedroom, and I'll call him out like you all have seen on these lives this week. Quatita will present a question and he gives an answer that parallels with mine, and that is so beautiful. And I just want to add that in the moment of you manifesting what it is that you desire and will have. I want to add that because it's such a dynamic feeling. Question.
Gratitude. Did I answer the question? What was the
You
question again? Did I answer it?
you did. You definitely did. Oh shit. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, yeah, you definitely did. What was I asking you?
You didn't
Shit.
you didn't ask it. You said I have a question. And then I said, did I answer the question, your first one?
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because we were talking about, oh, this is how this always happens. This is why I need
Why
to
do we
record it.
ignore the red flags? Okay,
Yes,
yes.
you
So I
did.
believe we ignore the red flags because we don't value the relationship or the real part of what the relationship should be, just to say we have somebody.
I can see that. I can see that. But you said that before. You did answer it before because you said how that shows up in the women that are like, the purpose of I have a husband. I have my
Uh-huh.
husband. So yeah, you did give that answer before. But that's clarity, and I feel and I agree with that. And someone I agree with what someone said in the chat too about like the comfortability. I don't know if I'm making up a word, but being in
Uh-huh.
that comfort zone and not wanting to backtrack or not wanting to start over. So you know what? I'm not going through this again with nobody else. So I'm gonna just deal with this and accept it, even if it's below the standards that I require for myself.
That part.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So, young Natty says sometimes you're blindsided. I believe sometimes we're blindsided, but I love how you put that, Natty, because when you say that, I believe we're blindsided because we choose to be blind to the red flags.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because they're always there. Whether that's how that person move, how they engage with you, the maybe some things that they've said that raises that red flag that you just gave. Maybe they didn't mean it. That maybe it was a bad day. Maybe, like, yeah, I'm not paying that. You pay that shit. He just always no. Those are red flags to somebody who doesn't want the same thing that you want.
Is it still a red flag if you've been conditioned to feel like that's normalcy?
That's a bat signal.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's still a red flag, but you can't recognize it because of your bat signals.
There you go. Okay. Okay.
That's why I say I can believe you be blindsided because you chose to be blind to it. Because that shit can be normal. Like, okay, let me say this because I talked about this, I believe, with you before when
Mm-hmm.
I said I felt like Bazzy could not receive the love that I gave to her because chaos was her normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
So she was watching her sister and her brother in these toxic ass relationships. So the love that I was giving to her, like you said, she could not receive it. So she had to write me in the script as the chaos that she was used to witnessing. That because they kept telling her, I love you, and she felt like they loved each other, but she was used to seeing violence and chaos and grabbing phones and erasing shit and doing this. For her, that was, I'm showing you I love you. No, you're not. You're being
Mm-hmm.
chaos and confusion. People don't know the difference.
Mm-hmm. Because as hard as love is supposed to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like thinking of myself traveling in a vehicle and it starts to rain, but my car has all of the features on it that I need to be able to see through the storm. It's still a easy ride. Like it's never supposed to be chaotic to the point where your vehicle just shuts down. It's never it's never supposed to be that. And I was able to connect with you on that because of the experience of my Bazzy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I could see that exactly because how, and especially when you love and you care for that person, it's like, how do you not see that you deserve this?
Okay, so let me say this because that's a great question, but I know
Hmm.
you're not really answering the question, but you're just that's it's rhetorical. But this is what it made me
Hmm.
think of. I have
Okay.
two cousins; they're sisters, and this was probably like I don't know, 15 years ago. But they used to argue, and the sister would say, "At least you don't get shit, bitch. At least I get a minute card." Like what? Huh?
Mm.
You get a
Hmm.
minute card? You gave your pum pum, then been pregnant, going through the ringer, but you get a minute card? Do you know how like profound that was?
Mm.
A minute
Mm.
card. Because that's what he gives you, a minute of his fucking time. And you've given him a child.
That's that whole concept of you exclaiming that your bar is set high, but where did your bar begin at in the first place?
Uh,
You.
I'm happy you talked to me. Happy you gave me a conversation.
Hmm. And you feel that that individual will feel like they're doing so much and they're doing so much better than in life than everyone else. But baby, there's work to do because if you are celebrating that enough to stand proud and loud in it, you don't know your value.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you mean to put you equate your value to a minute card.
Mm-hmm. And a
Oh.
McDonald's sandwich. Because he
Mm.
brought me some Subway and a minute card. But see, when you are the minute card. Meanwhile, the woman he really wants to be with, he just took her out to Red Lobster or fine dining.
Mm.
And they do movie night and they sit with the kids. So when the girl used to say, I was gonna put that shit on a t-shirt before when I used to, you popcorn hoes. Y'all pop up, pop, 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 pop. Like y'all
Oh.
not long lasting, you know?
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
In everything I do, I want to be classic and infinite. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what facet of my life that is in. You okay, baby? Green fabric? I'll look through my closet and see if there's anything you can chop up. Mommy's on live, okay? I love you. It's okay. Love you.
She's so sweet.
Talking about, do you, she came in here and crossed her legs against the wall. So, do you have any green fabric? Like, not anything new, but something old that you may not be using?
She's so innovative. Like her daughter just be in there just creating shit, writing stories and books just in her own world.
I love it. I love it.
I love it.
I'm gonna have to find that green fabric, or Daddy gonna get a call to stop at Joann's or Michael's and pick up some fabric.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so where were we? Where were we?
Popcorn hoes
Right.
and minute
I,
cards.
I want I want, and that's something that we should like fight for, that it should be classic. Like, you have to look at this situation and not be offended by the fact that he chose somebody else to give that part of him to, but instead say, who was I selecting? How did I show up? And why did I accept less than what this other woman has accepted?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and really analyze that. I did have a question for you earlier.
Okay.
Glad it came back to me. When you were speaking earlier, you said that we show up differently in our relationships than we do in our friendships, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
have different
Mm-hmm.
requirements or stronger requirements for our friendship than we do our relationship, or vice versa. So my question then, Quatiter, is how do you feel comparing that to how you show up for the public or for the streets, like when you walk out your front door versus with this future spouse that's on the way? If you need me to expound, I will.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay, so regardless of the vulnerability, regardless of the trauma, you still put your clothes on in your flyest essence and walk out that door. Whether you know what's coming or not, when you walk out the door, you still jump and fly. But the
Yes.
thought of being that in what's supposed to be your safe space is a bit frightening. So what is it that allows you to give that effort to the outside and stall when it comes to the inside? I hope that makes sense.
Um. Okay. Can you
Hmm.
rephrase the question?
Okay, so we know all of the toxicity and the repercussions that may happen when we walk out our front door as melanite women,
Yes.
and yet we do it every day. Fuck what you heard.
Yes.
I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna show up as my best self. I don't care what my fear quotations may be. I'm going out this front door. Try it if you want to. Where does that energy go when it comes to vulnerability with our person in our house? Where does that fuck it, I'm gonna just do it? Where does that go? How come that if you know you're capable of doing it because you do it every day as a melanite woman, where does that energy go now that you're with your person?
I believe. Okay. That's yeah. That's a good one. Okay. I believe it's because I genuinely will be like. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't give a fuck. I probably never see these people again. You know what I mean? But when I'm dealing with someone on a one-on-one basis, it goes back to people and the fear of I don't want them to think that I'm weird, strange, something's wrong with me. I want them to see me in my best self and my best light when really I don't give a fuck how the world sees me. But because I may be interested in you, I'm going to care how you see me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even when I said that about friendships, like, your spouse can talk to you in such a way that would be reckless and you would give every excuse to it, like, oh, she just having a rough day. But if your friend talk to you like that, like, I cut that bitch out, fuck that bitch. Like, she been your best friend for 20 years, he been your man for a year and a half, and so it's like, well, she was never my friend, and then you'll bring up every excuse as to the red flags you saw and you ignored, but you're still ignoring all of his and giving excuses. And that's because you really want that person in your life.
Mm.
You
So
want that person to see you.
that sounds to me like releasing the fear of loss.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I don't care about these people. If I never see these people again, like, I'll go into bed. If I'm out and I got a pee boo boo and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to. And then I immediately be like, I ain't gonna never see these people again. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bitch, yeah,
Mhm.
fuck you. You know? Sometimes I'll be like
Mhm.
thinking like, oh God, what if they recognize me now? But still at the same time, I don't give a fuck. I ain't gonna see these people again. But when I'm in a relationship, if you come by the door and I'm pee booing booing, I'm going to flip out because that's just me and who I am. Get away from this door. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm already like that. I hate to use the bathroom in public, and then if somebody comes in there, now I have high anxiety. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wash my hands and get the fuck out of here. And if they look for my shoes, bitch, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. But that person, I don't want them to see me in a smelly light.
Mhm.
But I know once you've become immune, because I had an ex, he'd be like, come and sit right here and talk to me while I'm shit. No, I
Mhm.
don't want to. But some people will be that kind of comfortable with you,
Mhm.
and some couples do get that kind of comfortable, like, oh, babe, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, I get that part. Because now you know that that person genuinely sees you. That's different.
Mm. So you've had to find that energy when you're out in the world, like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, you had to at one point say that to yourself to get over the feeling of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So a
Yes.
lot
Uh
of
huh.
times in relationships, I feel like our partners will be like, I don't give a fuck about that, actually validating what you had to find in public, but we still will disregard them saying, I don't give a fuck, and be like, no, but I do. No, but I
Yeah,
do. It's so hard to let that guard down, and I wonder
it
what
is.
is what is the work to be able to do that with those closest to you? Like, for example, even another aspect of this is I've made the example before that we will go out of our front door, we'll get in our car, argue with somebody. Like it could be as far as like road rage, right? It could be
Hmm.
like, fuck you, bitch, da, 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 da. And then 10 minutes later, completely forget about that person, jam into our playlist, never ever think about them again. Like, I can't remember the face of anyone that I've had road rage with, unless like, well, no, because when I was with Elijah's dad, I do remember their faces because he got out the car and flung a bottle across the street and it went through their back window. And we were in a high speed chase on the highway after that. I remember their faces clearly. But
I
outside
remember
of,
one of those too. I remember her because I beat her up. But yes, I remember.
see,
Yes,
okay. But the norm, like you don't remember any of those people and you let it go and it doesn't stick with you. But we'll go in our house and we'll get into a semi situation with our partner and ignore them for days and hold it against them forever. Why can't you find the energy for what you are supposed to love, the same energy that you give to strangers if it makes your connection stronger? Because you know you can do it, you do it with other people. So
yeah,
why
but
is it?
it's the fear because it's the fear of rejection. It's the fear of, oh, what if this is what they think they see, but what if they really don't see that? What if it's because everybody has this thing of like, what if they don't really see the person who I believe that I am, or you know what I mean? Like it's I can't even. Okay, say you
Mm-hmm,
got a gap in your teeth, right?
mm-hmm,
And that's been the bane of your existence for years. Like, I hate this fucking gap in my mouth. And somebody wants to talk to you and they're like, damn, your little gap is sexy as hell. Like, what? Like, yeah, man, I like that. I want to lick your gap. Like, what?
no, whoa, whoa,
Now you turned
whoa,
on. You know what I mean? I know that's right. But now you now you're turned on, and now you keep looking in the mirror and you're like, what? This is sexy. Like, I don't know. Now in your mind, you're gonna start to stare at the pot like, he just saying that. What if in a little bit he really realized this gap is not sexy? Because now you've talked yourself in that way. So people really are afraid that somebody may see what they see, because what you see ain't always the truth. You know what I mean? Like
whoa.
how you was like, Quachita, stop saying your hair looking mess. Stop, like, don't do that. Because it is what it is.
Mm-hmm,
So, but I put it out there first, so can't nobody be like, oh, her hair fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, bitch, I just
mm-hmm,
said that. I know. Get the fuck out of my face. So I feel like people don't want. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it could be no self acceptance, but
mm-hmm.
it's nobody believes they're perfect. You feel
Right.
me? If somebody says that they're lying, they will be lying out their ass. Whether you think you're completely beautiful but your pinky toes are ugly, you don't want him to see your feet because he may think your toes are ugly. People have that about them. It's just a natural thing. And so you don't want some people to see what you don't accept of yourself. Even if they
Mm-hmm,
told you that's the most beautiful part of you, it's hard for you to do that and allow that to be that until they like suck on them pinky toes or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, this nigga really sucked on these ugly ass pinky toes. That's how people are. You like that, like I said, like you may think that motherfucker ugly. He's trying to talk to you like, 6 months in, 7 months in, he's treated you so well, he fine as hell to you. And your friend like, bitch,
mm-hmm,
he is so. I thought she was ugly, girl. My baby is cute, girl, and he could dress like you found, because that didn't matter. But you sometimes can't see that in yourself.
yeah. Do you think,
So
go ahead.
no, I was just saying, so
Do you think that is also us protecting the connection? Because I feel like if we allowed people to see ourselves, we would know earlier whether they were for or not for us. Because
that's a
it's
very true statement.
It's in those moments where, especially in the beginning, the thing is that I feel like we hide those flaws for so long. And then once the honeymoon phase is over and we get comfortable, and now, you know, you okay to let one fly when you in the car with him and joke about it. And oh my gosh, what did I eat? And all that, when it gets super comfortable, by that point, you are already knee deep into this connection. So when you start to show these selves and they start showing their honest reactions and those things don't speak to you, it's harder to get out of the situation. Whereas in the beginning, if you weren't attempting to protect yourself from the rejection in those moments and you allowed it to just be shown no matter how uncomfortable it is, it might be saving you from a lifetime of heartache if you accepted that fear in the beginning. Because now, if I don't stop you from coming close to the door and you be like, and the person reacts like, bitch, what the fuck you ate? You nasty as fuck, hoe. Like, what?
I can't
Time
act,
to
yeah, that
go.
part. Yeah, I gotta go. Cause now what? Can't never look at you again. What are you doing?
But
Pack your shit. Yes, like
right.
but oh, it's also this, like what I
Mm-hmm.
just said about the Gap, right? And he tell you that he love your Gap. It's so cute. He want to lick it, but y'all have an open dialogue to where you can say somebody else is nice looking, and we talk about it, we laugh. But in the same instance, you like, damn, babe, she fine. He like, hell yeah, she is. Oh, she got some beautiful teeth. In that moment, that's not what you heard.
What did
You
you hear?
heard, I wish you had those kind of teeth. Like, if her teeth is beautiful, but my teeth don't
Mm.
look like that. So, like, you didn't hear that. But he genuinely wasn't saying it, like, why would you say that? You couldn't have said that bitch hair looked good. Like, why would you say the teeth? No, you was trying to be funny. Like, you didn't hear that. And you didn't allow him to have his own experience.
So it triggered you. This is going back to that initial
Yes,
conversation. So when we react in this way, somehow, some way, it's attached to a trauma, even if that's a self-inflicted trauma.
mm-hmm.
Because why would you not allow yourself the beauty of knowing hers can be beautiful and so can mine?
Because we don't hear that.
Right.
We're always like in the we're always still waiting for to say, I knew you was lying. I knew you didn't think it wasn't beautiful because you still don't think it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're always in that energy instead of just accepting things about ourselves. And I'm guilty of it. You have to understand, like, I was the only girl in first grade with moles. My
Mm-hmm.
moles have always been here. Now some have come a little heavier. I've had some taken off. I have a face full of moles. I used to look at this lady. We used to go to church, and this lady, her whole face was covered with moles, and I had moles. And I used to be like, I don't want that. And so that's been my fear. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So that's something that we always carry, and now I accept my moles, but I don't even want to get rid of them. And I have people walk up to me. I've had my aunts and with their face turned up, like, you can get them taken off. Like, bitch, why wouldn't I know that, bitch? So now what the fuck are you saying? Because I'm all right with my moles, bitch. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, I don't want them taken off. Girl, yes, you do. No, I don't. People are so intrusive. Like, they'll walk up to you. Can I tell? Because oh, you can get them. I don't need that. I had a man tell me before, like he was a cab driver. Like, yeah, no, you do. You want those off. Nobody wants those. Like, what do you mean? Girl, I called and reported him on Uber. Like, sir, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are very intrusive, and they try to put their depiction of you on you. But I'm just okay with that. But there's some other issues that I do have with myself. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, that I don't I'm not gonna voice it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I may just be like, oh, I look a mess today. You know what I mean? You take that however you want to
Mm-hmm.
take that. But I'm never gonna give you the weak part of me.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Friend,
do that.
I apologize for people showing up to you in that way. If the apology was never given from the individuals that
Aw.
needed to apologize, I apologize. And in that, I will give you a new experience, which I've told you before. When I see from the first time, I mean, like the first time I saw your first video when I was bawling in the shower, like
Yeah.
I had just been assaulted, and I just the first video that I ever saw, I had told Ro she has the most beautiful, and I had just said spots. I didn't even know, like I didn't think about the fact moles, whatever. I said it's on her face. There's an extension from her eyes that lets me know that her vision goes beyond ours.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a clear representation of her gift. It's a clear representation of how connected she is. Like you're talking about sight beyond veils. Oh, there was just one veil. I thought there was just one. No, she can see past all of them. And so that's how I've always seen that. I feel like it's the most beautiful part of you.
Gratitude.
You're
But
welcome,
see,
Queen.
that's what I was saying though. Like, so if you really like somebody and you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and say I did not like my moles though, and I know that people have said these things to me,
Mhm.
and I wasn't me and I didn't accept them, right? So then now you like somebody, and they're looking at them in your mind, they're having the same experience that everybody who's approached you didn't had,
Right.
and you don't want them to see that ugly part of you. You don't want them to see that. You want them to believe that they're beautiful. So then when they say your moles are beautiful,
Mhm.
it makes you uncomfortable. You don't know how to accept that, because that's never what you got. And you want them to see you differently. So it's hard for you to accept that because that was never instilled into you. So, but I love my moles. But anyway, but that's that. Like, people don't ever want somebody to think that there's something wrong with them.
Right. So
That goes
hold
into
on. Wait, my
sexual
headphone.
fetishes as well.
Fetishes?
Yeah, I believe that goes into sexual fetishes as well, or things that you like sexually, you
Oh,
know.
okay. Mhm. I get that. I get that. So how do we recondition that then? How do we reprogram the program?
The same way I said about melanite women, you have to accept yourself and love yourself. And that's where I'm at, trying to accept certain things about me. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because we all have that.
Mhm. Yep, sure do. I don't know not one person, no matter how much they pretend they don't. I don't know one person who doesn't have that thing or those things that they're like, and it's
Hmm.
so hard to get out of your mind about it, especially when the experience of others in the experience of others they validated, like you said, those feelings. Like when the person is looking and they say something, it's like, well, fuck it, I already knew that. So then when someone comes up and doesn't say anything and could very much well be enamored by you, it's like, oh, I know exactly what you think, and fuck you.
That
Mm,
part.
right.
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all an intimate moment here's an intimate moment with Quatita.
Mm,
Okay,
I'm gonna go on mute.
so So I had to have two different surgeries in the same place, which is right on the crack of my ass. And I've talked about it before. So I have a very long scar that goes down the crack of my ass where I've had to have surgeries. I had two polynital cysts, and they were so deep embedded that I had to have surgery to have them removed because I kept getting a boil right there. And the boil would be huge and it would hurt, and it was like terrible. So they kept saying you have a core polynital cyst in there. So the first time they did it, they didn't get it out correctly. So the next time that I had it done, it was so deep you could stick your whole hand in it. Now it healed, but it healed in the most ugliest way. So I knew it was not attractive to me, but I didn't think nothing of it until one time I was having a sexual experience, and the guy took my shirt and pulled it down and covered it. That stuck with me.
What?
Yes, it stuck with me. Doggy style used to be my favorite motherfucking position. Now I don't want to do it that way. Now I feel like I have to give a disclaimer to people like, so real quick, I have a scar. Like, so that, like, you may not think something is wrong until somebody tells you how they feel about it. You know what I mean? Now you have that complex. So that
What
happens.
what was your reaction in that moment? Like, what did you do? How did you react? Did you just
Like, my
continue
pussy was
going?
drying up. My pussy was drying up because it's like, now that's all I'm thinking about. I can't even focus.
Did you let him
And his
come to
dick was
fruition?
super huge. And I was already like, what the fuck? Get off me. Huh?
Did you let him come to fruition?
It was not, it turned into not a good experience. So I don't know if he did or didn't, because I completely checked out. Because, like I said, I wasn't being funny. His dick was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I could not, like, I mean huge. Like, he's like, no, where'd you get that from? Who put that there? Get off of me. Don't touch me. Stop. Like, and so it was not a good experience. He was in a rush. It was like supposed to be a quickie, and it was just like a overall bad experience for me.
This is how I know that I'm a Cancer and I'm petty, because if I'm sensitive, or if you create a sensitivity in me, you gonna feel exactly what it is, even if you don't know that you just did this. I would have started making sounds like a donkey. I would have did all types of shit to make him go soft. And we gonna talk
It
about it. Why
was
did you put
like,
that shirt
I
there?
just completely, yeah, I completely checked out. Like, oh wow.
Listen, I get that though, and I get how long we hold on to those things. Cause I even had that experience with Ro. What happened, Quatita?
Nanny told I said, you should have told me I had a small weenie. Listen, I was fighting for my life in that motherfucker. He knew that would have been a lie.
Don't want to make him too angry and he shift your colon.
Listen, I was reaching for shit that wasn't there. Please, sir, stop. Get off me. Where'd you get this hammer from? I don't know. No, stop. Oh, go ahead, Malika.
Well,
Ooh.
no, I had that experience because I always had an issue with my arms. And we have I remember like squeezing my grandma's arms when I was younger, and I would always play with them and lay on them. We have very wide arms, or bigger arms. And so it has always been an issue for me. And I remember, this is me taking it personal and not realizing that he wasn't trying to hurt me, but I didn't let go of it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
where like I always wore wife beaters. I would cut them, a little cute tie up situation. And as much as I disliked my arms, it was like, I mean, it's cool. I'm cute, so whatever. And I remember one time Ro being like, "Why do you wear wife beaters? Like, do you like your arms out?" or something like that. He said it wasn't even like, "Your arms look fat in that shirt." It was him asking a question. All I heard was, "Bitch, your arms is
Mm-hmm.
fat. Put on some sleeves."
Yes. Yes.
And I never, I didn't let it go. Like, 5 years later, not 5 years, I'm exaggerating, but like maybe
Yeah.
2 years later, I was like, "This is why I don't wear wife beaters anymore." And he's like, "What are you
Absolutely.
talking about?" Because then I started finding my voice. So now I wanted to get everything out from 1984, because now I'm speaking up and I'm speaking out in defense of me. But I may
You didn't let
be.
me play on the playground. Like,
Listen, that's how it was showing up. And he was looking at me like, "What did I do? When did this happen?" I couldn't hear any of it. I was just wanting to get it out. I used to love wife beaters, and you ruined that for me.
that's the truth, man. And I know what you mean, because I used to love my Amy's fat. I would rub my face on it. We would lay there, and I just loved her.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. But I be looking at mine like, shit, that's hanging low. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just the smallest statement. It could just be like, just the smallest thing. Even with that, like what you're saying, it could be like, "You okay? You walking a little slow. Oh, so I'm fat."
Right.
I'm just checking on you. What do you mean? Yeah, we get in our heads a lot. We get in our heads a lot. And we be sensitive about
That,
our shit.
that's your question, Malika. That question is for you.
Oh, um, from Pretty Chocolate. What question?
Um, I put it on the screen.
I had missed it. You know what? I'm looking at the iPad and not at the phone, and so I'm looking and I'm like, "You talking about pretty sure?" Okay. Anyway, how did you get to that point, Malika, of speaking up? Okay, so there was too much bottled up. It was too much. I felt like I was going to burst, and I started writing it out. And in writing it out and reading it back, I was like, "Shit, you've got a point here. Like, this needs to be talked about." And it gave me the opportunity, because I sat with self and my thoughts. It gave me the opportunity to really decipher what it was that I was angry about, what it was that I was feeling.
Mhm.
And that's why I say it's so important to journal. Like, I can't wait to find the right journal to put up on Grand Rising, outside of like the Melanite Bible, and outside of Grand Rising, the journey planner that we're both working on. Um, I think it's so important. You find your voice in your words, and you
Yeah.
find the ability to not judge yourself. And I'm not talking about like, well, I'm thinking about how I want to write, how I feel. No, just putting pen to paper and letting the emotions release. Or if you type better or text better, putting it in your notes and then reading it back and really analyzing it. And sooner or later, it ended up showing up in conversations. And another big part of that also is I was releasing the fear of loss. I don't give a fuck if you decide not to be with me. I'm sick of feeling at any way, shape, or form that I'm with somebody, but I'm in this by myself. I should never feel like that if I am sharing
Okay.
space with you.
I got a question for you then, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the answer to the question or not. And I'm sorry I cut you off. I didn't
No, go
stepped
ahead.
in there.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I
Um.
love when you do that, because I'm like, yes, dig deeper.
Okay. um. How did you become comfortable with Ro, or were you always just comfortable with Ro?
Which part of comfortable? Because there's so many different comforts that you have to access with a partner. The one that we were
Mm.
there's this it's different, there's different facets of it, because you have the everyday comfortable, like how you are with, like earlier when you were saying like, oh, he's in the bathroom and you using the bathroom at the same time. You have that didn't take very long. Comfortable with being vulnerable about how I was, like my previous experiences, sexual trauma, excuse me, that part is very interesting, because I'm an open book. So I was very comfortable with telling him the experiences, but the vulnerability of saying this is how those experiences are showing up right now with us was not as easy as telling my story.
Mm. Okay, so I
Hmm.
guess it's like, okay, so let's take a sip at a time then, because like
Hmm.
even when you said you be in a car, you just let one loose and you look at them like what, like did you test that at first? Like you fart and just look like, excuse me, and see what he say? Like how do you get comfortable on that level? Because I've been with people and people have been that comfortable with me, but I'm well, maybe I shouldn't use that because I'm just not that kind of person. Like I'm not gonna fart around nobody unless it's toddy. I just
Hmm.
don't. You know what I mean?
But
But
what if we on the highway? What you gonna do? Pull the car over and get out? And be like, hold on, let me just have gas real quick.
no, my stomach behind me like I gotta pee. Listen, pull up, stop. I gotta do something. Like, oh my god, I can't. I'll be doubled over. I don't know. Yep, I would be doubled over.
Yeah, no.
If it squeezed out, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like I don't know. I might not even be able to talk to you for another 2 hours if I fart in this car.
I just yell, roll the windows down. Because if it's sneak, listen, I know that pain. It only takes me once, and I don't like pain. I don't like pain that I can avoid and still am somehow tolerating. No, I don't like that feeling. So it only took me once to try to hold that in and feel the way it made me feel for the rest of the day. Like that, holding gas in, you will end up being in pain for the rest of the day because you didn't just let it out. I cannot. I mean, of course, if I'm in a space where I can move to a separate area, okay, play it off and whatever. But if we're in a vehicle, or sometimes you don't have an option. For me, that's not an option. I'm not holding it in. I think though that Ro was so comfortable with me just being my true self around him, especially again because we were friends first. So the most discomfort was like, you'd be like, oh, good. There's no, this is so horrible. TMI, there's no smell.
Yes.
I'm safe.
Uh,
I'm safe. But then Ro would be like, do not disrespect me like that. Don't have me in the space with you and you have released something and not made me know. And I'm just here breathing in the essence.
it's went in my mouth. It went in my mouth.
So yeah, that I think that just kind of happened. That just like it's I don't know. And I'm really trying to figure out where that comfort fell in, but I know it was early on. Let me tell you what is really the uncomfortable situation where it's just like, I'm glad you're my best friend because we're gonna laugh about this. I don't know if you have ever had the experience of queefing.
Yes. Oh my God. Like that wasn't me. That was my poem. That was my poem. That was my poem.
You feel the
Oh my
motion and the stroke slow down a little bit. Like, wait a minute. Oh,
God.
that was
That was my poem. It
I'm
wasn't that.
But again, I'm so jokey that it just turns into laughter. And even when I'm uncomfortable, it ends up turning into laughter and I'm able to get over it and out of it because I laugh about it. I laugh about it. And hopefully they laugh too. Because if not, there's a
Yes.
problem. Yeah. Oh, boy.
I feel like, some guys feel like women shouldn't fart and shit. Like, what? Do you? Like,
See,
get the
but
fuck
that's
out
not
of
the
here.
man for me. You have some women
Yeah.
too you have some women that feel like I never want to have flatulence, as my mom would say. You never want to have flatulence around a man. I mean, my mom doesn't believe that. But you have a lot of women that feel like you should never like let him see you use the bathroom. So I feel like, okay, well, there goes a match. Those men are for those women, and gratitude for taking them on because that's not my experience. That's not what I'm looking for. I need
Yeah.
one of the men that's just gonna accept it. I've had a man say that to me before, like, women aren't supposed to have get okay, it was nice speaking to you. What do you mean? We've been talking for 3 weeks. No, 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 no. We don't need to waste any more time because if I can't be me around you in that way, it's not gonna work. Well, it's just because the women in my life, and I'm glad that they did and you vocalized it because now you know exactly what you're looking for and it's not me.
My daughter is very comfortable with her dude like that, and I'm I'm gonna say envy her on that, and that's why I say envy is not always a bad thing because I absolutely love that about her, that
Mhm.
she can be that open. They are that free together. You know what I mean? Like we on a FaceTime one time, and she on the toilet, and she's pee boo booing, and she's butt ass naked talking to me. I'm like, where you at? She like, oh, over at his house. He coming there like, here, babe, give her the joint. Like, what the fuck? I said, what? She's like, what? Oh, okay, never mind, sis. Love it. Heard you. Okay.
I think that's the way it's gotta be. You know what helps with that too, Quatita? The first time you're sick around them.
Mm,
Because then you don't have the ability to hold it back if you want to. I remember, and
yes.
that might be where the shift occurred too, because very early on in our relationship, I went to the dentist to have a tooth fixed, and the dentist had used the drill and didn't tell me that he broke the drill bit off in my gum, and then
Mm,
he tried to get that one out with another drill bit and broke that one off. So by the time I got to the specialist, like months later, when I have this big swelling on my face, like, what is happening? Oh my gosh, is this what herpes looks like? And my doctor's like, no, stop, hypochondriac. It seems like your tooth
it
has an
definitely is.
infection. Listen. there's an infection in your tooth. I went to the specialist, they pulled up the x-ray, and there were 3 drill bits that he left in my jaw and didn't tell me. He told me that everything was corrected when I left the dental office. And so the specialist had to put me on clindamycin, and clindamycin is dangerous because it gets rid of the infection, but it also gets rid of the good bacteria you need. So then you can end up with this thing called C. diff. And with that, you have no
Yeah,
control of your bowels. And so maybe
absolutely.
like 5 months into our relationship, that happened to me. And he took care of me. And when I say using the back, like walking outside to try to go outside, going down the stairs and being like, nope, we got to go back inside, and just
Hmm.
being on the toilet, and him having to watch me to make sure that I was okay because I ended up being hospitalized. And so, um, in moments like that, none of that matters. And all everyone cares about is, are you still going to be here tomorrow? And when you look at it that way, honestly, when you just look at it that way, a lot of things would you would just let it slide. I don't want to argue with you when you go on the road and something happens to you, and the last thing I have in my mind is that we had an argument when I know I could have let that go and just said I love you.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
if
absolutely.
yeah, if you stay in that energy of I just want to appreciate every moment with you because I don't know what the next minute will bring. You show up differently, and things that mattered before don't matter anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you on that. Wow.
I don't know if Ro would pass me the blunt though while I'm using the bathroom. He's very particular with things like
I was
that.
like, okay, to y'all, shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
This
Gratitude,
conversation
Malika.
makes me so happy. Gratitude to you. And gratitude to the cousins.
Yes, because they've been in it, honey. I've been looking at the comments. I've been trying to post some. Hmm.
Oh, see what young naughty music typed.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. But what is that? What is that that makes an individual show up like that? I just
We're trying to get them to do it. I'm trying to get them to do a class. I almost set it up yesterday.
he's been getting more comfortable, like he
Yeah,
really does love the questions that you ask. I think for Ro, if it's like we're going to sit and do this class and like come up with our own topics, and that doesn't feel comfortable for him. But when the conversation is being led and he's just getting to share his honest authentic opinion, he's
I think we
definitely
should do
down
it
for
that
that.
way.
Yeah, I think
Like,
that'll be dope.
I put together a class and we'll do some sort of, questions and y'all can speak and then maybe people have questions. Um, I like that.
Mhm. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do
Okay.
it. You know he's always
Let's
going to
do
show
it.
up for his quateater.
I so appreciate it, man. That's
Mhm.
gonna be dope.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited to see what I learn because I feel like I learn something new about Ro every time that we have a conversation with you.
Yeah, I love that. You be like, oh, I just was telling somebody that, like, oh, I didn't get that. So that's what you heard when I had said that. Okay,
Mhm.
so like I love that when it happens, I be smiling so fucking hard, like
I give gratitude. I give
my
gratitude.
favorite couple.
Ashay. Gratitude. I feel like that's that intent listening also because you do that with me all the time. Like Malika, I just heard it, but it's how it's said in this moment that it's being said in this conversation. It just hit different,
Hmm.
you know, and
Yeah, that's
voicing it.
like a kid. I would tell Toddy something when she was growing up, and it never made sense. She didn't understand it, but soon she'll come in like, Auntie Nisi had said. I said, I just told you that. The fuck is going on? You know?
That is the harshest thing to experience as a parent when you know you've been trying to drill this thing in it and somebody comes around that is not in the everyday experience of your child and all of a sudden they get it. But you know what? Gratitude,
Yes.
the message was finally received.
Okay, absolutely. Listen, Toddy was like 3 or 4, maybe.
Hmm.
And no, she had to be like 5 or 6. And so, I would get her shoes and coats and shit. I'd be like, "Where your shoes at? Why you ain't?" You know what I'm saying? Like, go put your shoe. Why? Where's them at? Like, she never knows what nothing is. Toddy's daddy, who never did anything for her, one Christmas, one Christmas, brought her over a purple coat and some boots. My daughter walked around for 24 hours with panties, that purple coat, and them boots on. I was so angry, but I let her do it. I didn't say shit. We was in the house all day that day. I just watched her. Like, she was so happy, walked around all day with some panties on, the coat, and them boots.
Mm. That's
Like,
so
motherfucker.
that's so beautiful though. Like those items satiated that craving. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
even if I, because babies are, they are very resilient, so they'll just figure out a way to exist within whatever the dynamics are that have been created for them. And it hurts when they go through things that we know we don't want them as our children to experience. But in that moment, to know that you have grasped the fact that I'm going to hold on to this and feel this because this is a craving I've been wanting to feel and not care what anybody thinks about it. I'm wearing this purple coat every day and these boots.
Every.
I don't care if it hurts
It
mom's
did.
feelings. I need this. I need this and I come first. Like that is the energy that we have to get back to. And I'm really trying to figure out how to stay consistent in that. It's not easy. Children are just so, they are the goals to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I know exactly what you mean when you say that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
But I know you were, because that I had that with Elijah. It was a popcorn machine and cookies.
I
Well,
mean, I let her do it, but as a growing mom who was still lost in my own anger,
mhm.
I'd be like, "But I bought your ass shoes too. I don't see you walking around here with them shits on. I done bought you plenty of motherfucking coats. But go on and walk around with that shit, like But I was in my feelings. But
Right. That's how it showed up. Elijah did that to
yeah,
me when his bio was released from prison. He, when he did show up, or I don't know, whatever we call that, um Elijah had came back after spending the first day with him, and he was like, he's got a popcorn machine, and they have cookies, there's always cookies. He was like, I want to go back, I want to stay there. And I'm looking like, for a popcorn machine and some cookies, like that's literally all you needed to sell me out for all these months.
you're gonna be hungry today though. Don't worry about it, cause I provide food.
Somebody get me some rice and butter, because that is what is for dinner. Go enjoy your cookies. Okay. It's so difficult to deal with that because that is a real thing. Like, what?
Yes,
He wanted his
like I
popcorn
gave you
machine.
life, and you happy about a popcorn machine? I popped you out. This is what happened. Yes.
And
Yeah,
you
we
know,
be in our feelings for sure.
me and my petty self, of course, would go on Amazon and order one of the small popcorn makers.
That part.
Like, we got a popcorn machine here now too, and it didn't even
Yeah,
matter.
it's not the same thing.
It's not. It wasn't. It wasn't. And I hurt my own feelings, and then I was like, I'm over it.
Ah, period.
Oh, that's so funny.
Mm.
I'm looking at.
Internet's question.
Yes, that's what I was just reading. Huh. How would you respond to that, governess? I'm really interested to hear your answer.
I'm in that same space. That's what I've just been learning over the past few days. Like, but I guess it depends on when we say intimacy, what do we mean? Do we mean like a sexual encounter, or we mean like letting somebody in to be vulnerable? See, I've had sexual encounters, and again, like I told y'all, like I'm working on even gaining, vulnerability inside of that. So being intimate, don't know. I think that's a question for Malika or someone in the chat because I don't know.
Okay. I think, oh, okay, she said he's pure. I was looking for that specification too. Once you said it, like, yeah, okay. Um, oh,
That's a question for a guy, I think.
yeah. I believe that also. If we don't have that option, this would be a perfect moment for Mr. Speaker Boxer to be on this panel to answer that
I
question.
know. Yeah.
Um, if I was to give advice, if he was to present this situation, I feel like I would just let him know to prepare himself and be able to calm his mind and just allow the moment to be what it is.
Well, here's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He said if he should tell her up front. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Hold on. That's the guy right there. He said if he a virgin, then as long as he keeps it real with the nerds, he should be fine. There's a J. Cole song where he talk about his first time. Like that's the only thing I can reference him to because I don't know, But be honest, I would agree with Tony. Be honest. Don't try to fake the funk. Like let her know, and that may even heighten it for her, because then she gonna want to show him, teach him, take charge, and make it do what it do.
But what if it's the other way around?
Tell him to be teachable. What you mean?
Like, what if it's the other way around and she feels like that's too much pressure?
I mean,
Or
it very
she,
well could be.
or she like she feels like it goes into the, well, why haven't you been with anybody yet? Like, what if she's that kind of energy?
I agree with Corbin. He said if she makes a big deal out of it, she's not the one for him.
That's
And if
it.
he's waited till this point, make sure it's with somebody that's going to understand that from him. I think, first of all, let me say this. Tell him I said this is the most beautiful thing that
Hmm.
I've heard. And I show gratitude and applause that he respected himself enough to
Hmm.
give himself the opportunity when he feels like he's ready
Hmm.
to do it. So, gratitude to you, young sir.
I think that's I think that's beautiful. I want to know, how long have they been together, or how long are they together? Are they just talking? What does that look like?
Right, yeah.
Because I think that governess is so right in saying that, like, this is a big deal. Like, that is a great honor to experience that moment with you. So
Hmm.
it has to be treated as such. It has to be treated as a ceremony.
Yeah, don't short yourself.
Yeah. He said he's waiting because he said women are hot in the pants.
A lot of them are. A lot
Hmm.
of them are. More ways than one.
I think having those conversations, like what the masculine were giving advice on earlier, and what Quatita was speaking on, having the conversations and using your discernment to gauge the response will give you all of the answers you need to know. One, on whether or not you need to move forward with this decision of making this, giving this person the honor of having that moment with you. And two, to really analyze how they show up to you, because the way that they show up with you, sharing that and having those conversations, is probably a reflection of how they'll be in that moment. Like, I personally would be like, oh my gosh, me? Like, that's incredible. Like, if I was younger and the individual that I was with was if I like already had the experience and they hadn't, I would be like in
I would
awe.
want to turn him the fuck
Oh,
out.
see, here we go. There we go. Okay.
I would
Yeah.
be so, like you say, enamored with it. Like, are
Hmm.
you serious? But it would be hard for a person to believe it, you know. But also having those intimate conversations where you can be open and a person understands you're telling the truth, and you know what I'm saying. Like now, I'm about to go and get it all the way together. I'm gonna come in my best gear, and and this let me show let me do it let me just like it's all right, touch it here, give me your hand, do that. Like I would, because now I feel like I'm dominant.
Listen, you talking about the experience of let me learn you, let me teach you, a clean slate. I mean,
Hmm.
even your experiences after me would be so dynamic in this world. I would leave you to be a blessing onto the Melanite nation for anyone who gets the experience, because you will know what it is that you are doing, but also give that grace to allow the guidance to happen. Don't feel uncomfortable or offended. Don't take things personally, because sometimes people don't always know how to show up in those moments when they're left in a space of teaching. But I hope for you that this nurse is one who guides and one who makes the experience what it's supposed to be. Tony hit it on target with his last comment in the chat also. um
Yeah,
Men have this thing where we feel like we got to be king dick and beat it up, but just be real, and if she understands that, it should all go well.
yeah, because your body, I love when a man body go into autopilot. Ooh, child.
Expound on that.
uh, Autopilot,
Uh-huh, go ahead.
where it's like it's just a go, you know. Like it may be like oh, I can't even explain it. It is like, oh we like it's like for him it's just that good where his body just like, child, what, how do I, mm,
Welcome to Just Judy family. We're happy that you're tuned in. Make sure
mm,
that you hit the like and show your
like
appreciation.
like like a walk you up the bed type thing, like it's good, he just want to be in it, like, oh my god, who, it didn't get hot in this car, like I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I mean, like,
I do. I just wanted you to explain it.
oh, Malika. Ooh, wee.
You know what my favorite part is? I am not impressed with the the men that feel like they gotta go for hours and hours and hours. Yes, it's a beautiful song, and
You're not gonna
there
fuck me like that. No.
there are moments for that, but it's not even that. You know what it is for me? You make me feel like I'm not good at what I do.
Mm. Yes.
Like
Heard you on that.
the turn on for me is when I could feel you trying to hold back because you can't help it. Like, why would
Yes.
this be so good? Like that. I love that feeling. I love that.
Ooh. Yes, girl.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Now, I mean, like, so good that when you sit and talking to somebody at Walmart and you thought about it and your body, your knees get, whoa, what happened? I don't, girl, I don't know. I see you later, girl. Like, I gotta go home. Like
I remember
that.
somebody
Like,
talking. I remember somebody talking about that recently. I think they said there was nothing wrong with a little sneaky, a little flashback. Can't remember exactly who it was that said that there was nothing wrong with a little flashback.
absolutely, it's nerd. Yes, you get chills. Yes.
Mhm.
Like if you can feel that in your lower stomach, just thinking back about it, and you squeeze, you need to squeeze for a second. Yes, Lord.
Mhm. Mhm. I think
Mm-mm.
that's
Look at that. What'd you
what you said.
say?
What you supposed to say?
said, I bet all the women in the chat just thinking, like, mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. The flashbacks be the best. Just like I know one night, I think I'm not gonna say any names, but she knows who she is, was in the comments, one of our family members at AWWTA, and she was saying it was your Just Judy night, and she had said that she was going to her dream state, like she was about to go and get rest in dream state. And it immediately made me think, because of the topic on Just Judy, in regards to a friend had told me that dream orgasms are the best feeling ever. Like sexual encounters in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I've
feel
had it
that
a couple
way?
times. I've had it before. I won't say it's the best, but I have had it.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different experience.
I be like, what was that? That was, see, something that came in here and then did something. Yeah, because what was that? Uh-uh.
Is that what that is? Please say no.
I believe that's what it is. I do. I believe that. No, I believe that. Yeah.
Oh no. See, just like that, you pulled the carpet from under my feet. I don't know how I feel about this anymore.
That is
No.
funny. I do. I feel like that.
Cousins in the chat, do you agree? So wait a minute. So okay, just for clarity, I think you talked about this before, but when you're in dream state, something can come in upon and onto you, whatever they say in the Bible. Something can something something can a being can come in and do that, and you would perceive it as a dream, but it's been an actual experience. That seems so wrong. Like, hold on.
Well, it may
Oh,
be, but I believe that's what it is. A lot of the people in the chat just said yes too.
oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay.
Oh no, no, no.
No. Oh, B Love said when she has those dreams, she can't see a face. Okay.
I can't never see a face either. I've had one where I could see his body, his hair, but I could not see his face.
Mm.
I've
Hmm.
even had an experience in my dream where it wasn't sexual, but in the dream he was my partner, and I could feel the love I had for him. Like I loved him deeply. And that was really weird because I was like, what the fuck is that?
Do you think that those dreams could also be past lives, but us seeing us in our now image, or even
Mm-hmm.
the
Parallel.
right, or the basis of something that may happen in the future? Because I've had experiences and I've been like, oh my gosh, I dreamed this. Like this was in a dream. I know that
Yeah.
they, yeah. So, okay, well, that works for me. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like when you're talking about in that, like, it feels like in that moment, like you are sleeping and this is real. It feels real, and you can feel your body reacting and moving, and like what is happening. I believe that you're being like in a sexual encounter with a spirit.
But what if it's the person that you're with though? Would it just be the spirit taking on the image of the person that you're with?
Absolutely,
What the fuck?
to make you comfortable. Like even in those moments, I've woke up and I knew because it's almost like I was in between asleep and an awake. There was nobody in my dream, but I could feel it on my physical body. And this was like way before I understood who I was. This was like when I was in my Jesus movement,
Mm-hmm.
the programming. So it wasn't even that, because you know how people love to, I know how bitches love to tussle. So it ain't even that. It was just I had this experience, and when I woke up, I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like I was heavily breathing. Like, what is happening? Like, mm-hmm.
You know what's interesting when I think about it, because when it has been a masculine, it's either like how you explained it, where I can't see the face, but when I have seen the face, it's been Rose's face. But typically in those dreams, also, it's usually a feminine that's in the dream with me. There's even been dreams where Ro is in the room and he's watching, but never engages. Like he's
Mm,
engaged, but not like I just want to watch and take this all in, that kind of energy. So now I'm wondering,
yes,
like, okay, was that a spirit in her boyfriend that did
it might have been two spirits.
dressed him
Yeah.
up like Ro and put him over there and what?
No, it could have been Ro outside of his body, just
Oh,
watching the experience.
so that can happen too. So Ro and I can meet in the astral world and have that experience.
We absolutely do.
Wow. I never thought of that like that. And as much as I have dream experiences, I've never thought of it. And Ro and I have dream shared before, but I've never thought about it with those dreams. Huh.
Yeah, I love dream sharing. That's dope. Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's always very mind blowing when it happens. Nye and I
Yeah.
used to dream share a lot. A lot.
Yeah, me and my mom, me and Toddy, we've done it. Me and my mom have done dream sharing. It's a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But okay, my cousin and her ex, they've dream shared, but it was like this. In her dream, she was sitting on the porch and she was like calling out to him like, "Hey, this the banister on this porch is broken or something like that. Like this needs to be fixed."
Mm-hmm.
And so, like that was her dream. In his dream, he was telling her, but in her dream there was a bird in the tree, right? As she's sitting
Mm-hmm.
outside. In his dream, he was a bird, and he could see her sitting on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
That was deep as fuck to me.
Yeah. I remember Elijah's bio. It was the day before I found out I was pregnant. The dreams the week that I found out I was pregnant with Elijah were so vivid. But one night specifically, Martin had he when we got up, I was like, that was the craziest dream. And he was like, yeah, I had a crazy dream too. I had a dream that you got kidnapped. And I was like, but in my dream I got kidnapped. He was like, yeah, I was searching for you and I was trying my best to find you and I had to drive out to the woods. And I'm finishing his statements as he's saying it, because in my dream there's this man that had taken me away and took me to a cabin in the woods, and I'm describing what he has on. And like, from my perspective, in my dream, Martin had bust through the door and took him out, and in his perspective, he pulled up to the cabin and had bust through the door and took him out and rescued me. I like It's really, really interesting. But I've never what's beautiful with your cousins is him coming into her, like, having dream sharing, but in animal form, fauna
Mm-hmm.
form. Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
that's dope. I love
Wow.
that. Are you in a parking
So
lot?
yes.
Get off my phone. Get off my
In the parking lot, like get something to eat. I've been sitting here looking at it for
Wait, you're
two
in the
hours now.
matrix. You're in the matrix. It's breaking up. What'd you say?
I said I've been sitting here for the 2 hours just talking that I'm getting ready to grab some meat.
Go and eat, friend. I love you so much. We've been on the phone for a very long
Gratitude.
time.
I love you too. Yes,
Gratitude.
girl.
Go and eat, and
All right, I
please
love you.
get
I
some
love
get
y'all.
some rest.
Yes, I am. I'm going home and getting something to eat. I'm gonna do packages and yeah. So
Okay.
gratitude. I love y'all.
Love you, family.
All right. I talk to you soon.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right,
Love you.
peace.
Peace.
All right, peace.